Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bubbles with Bethany. I'm so excited that you're all here. I'm really excited about our guest tonight, and I'll introduce her in just a second. But I do want to do a little bit of quick housekeeping. So next week, Jared, do you want to explain what's going to happen at the after party next week?
Yeah, you're just gonna throw that right on me. I love it. Yeah, so we have an exciting deal. We've kind of been talking about it on the last couple episodes. This exciting deal that we've been working on that Bethany is the lead sponsor for, and we're just gonna announce it on this after party. So we're gonna have this episode or the episode next week, and then right after that episode, everybody's gonna stay on, and a new meeting is gonna start, and it's going to uh, be with other people who are going to join the meeting to hear more about this new deal that we're going to announce.
Yeah, and you're all welcome to stay. You can jump off or stay. We'll have people join, and we're going to have it be an ongoing thing where it's not always necessarily going to be my deal. It might be someone else's deal. So it'll be sort of a town hall meeting of deals that are in the works. So you'll be hearing more about that on social media as well. Same way you hear about this every week. So okay, this week we have a treat because we have the amazing and the wonderful Liz Faircloth. And if you guys haven't already heard of Liz Faircloth, I'm kind of not sure where you've been because she's all over the place. But you look behind her, the Real Estate InvestHER. She's got a really wonderful and powerful women's group that all focused on real estate investing and education and community and all of the things. And it's fantastic. Liz also co-authored a book that we're going to be giving away at the end of this. So again, as usual, stick around until the end because we're going to play a silly game and you're going to get to win not a silly prize, a wonderful prize, which is the book that she co-authored with other rock star women called The Only Woman in the Room. And I've read that book and it's fantastic because it's not even necessarily, Liz, what it sounds like, because it's really like a how-to guide for investing in real estate and even a little bit more than just real estate, some branding and some business advice and financial advice. And it's just by all these really successful, powerful rock star women. And yes, it shines light on the fact that a lot of times when we're in a place, we are the only woman in the room, but it is not really about that necessarily. It just shines a light on amazing women. And you're going to love it. And you're going to get a chance to win it when you stick around to the end. Liz, cheers to you and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. I
I really
appreciate being here.
appreciate you. Okay.
Oh, I gotta drink my water.
Um, so as always, we like to start off with, it's so funny that people are like, oh, wait, so you're a lawyer and we're going to come on here and we're not talking about law and we're not even talking in the weeds about real estate or syndication, unless that's just the way the conversation goes. But really, what I want to know when I talk to really successful, impactful people is what do you think, Liz, is your unique superpower?
My unique superpower. I love this. I love this question, Bethany. Thanks for having me. You've added so much value to our Strive mentorship program in our community. So thank you. Happy to be here. So my unique superpower, I think, I'm actually preparing one of my sessions at our upcoming conferences on core genius and like how to discover your core genius. So as I'm putting this together, I'm like, what's my core genius, right? To your point, what's your superpower? Very similar term. I think mine would be inspiring, connecting, and building relationships with people. I love that. I have a passion for it. I think superpowers are like what you have a passion for and what you're really exceptional at. That's how I define like a core genius or a superpower. So I think that would be mine. Inspiring, connecting people, and bringing people together would be mine.
So
Well,
does that,
Love that.
I have this question I really want to ask because you mentioned, I've heard this a couple times now. So Strive and Core Genius, which goes right along with Bethany super well, where she talks about being in your lane. And she's been a huge mentor with me on sticking to my core competency and not doing stuff I don't need to be doing. And so she's been super impactful for me on that. Does Strive, because you mentioned it was a mentorship program, right? Right before we started this.
Sure.
what is that all about? Like, because with that being your superpower, connecting, I imagine you connect mentors with other people and their core genius and stuff. I don't know. I'm like really, really interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a simple way, when we started InvestHER 6 years ago, we wanted to bring women together and build a community. And so much what we do is free and is just about community building and women coming together to give and to get. What we found was there was a group of women investors that were scaling. They're solopreneurs, they're doing it all themselves. And they're tired, right? They're tired of doing that. And men as well, right? That's a common thing, whether you're doing it, you're scaling, you're growing, but you feel alone, right? You can't talk to your neighbors, you can't talk to your parents. Who can you go to get the support, the knowledge, and the skills? So we created Strive, a mentorship program that we really put together, and where we have women we have pod mentors, we have accountability calls, we have masterminding. And it's really where solopreneurs, if you will, women who are scaling, who've done deals, five or more deals, can come together, learn what they need to learn, grow together, and be around mentors and peers playing at the same level. So,
So you monetize your superpower
yeah,
in a way that impacted like a huge community. I think I that's amazing. That's
yeah,
super inspiring.
yeah. And you have to really know. I always say to people who are building a community or looking to build a community, it's, who do you want to serve? And then, like, what do you want to serve? Like, meaning what do you actually want to serve them? And if you're not listening and hearing and really engaging, you're not gonna be able to do that. We built InvestHER for ourselves first, because we went around to conferences, we went around to events, and we were the only women in the room. And there's nothing, I work with men, I love men, they're great, but there's nothing like a safe community for women to give and get support, especially in an area that tends to be more male dominated. So
As a
that's why
man, I
we,
agree with you. So
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I love this because and it's so interesting because you think you know what people are what they kind of bring into the world. Everybody watches you on social media, or they're at your amazing events, they're in your groups, whatever. And it's always nice to hear though, like what you feel is because it matters more, right? What you think
Sure.
superpower is, right? I
Yeah.
mean, your impact on people, fine, but you've got to really own it and be like, this is the thing that lights me up and like makes me happy and gives me purpose. And so I do love that. And I think it's true too. I think that is the impact you have on people. So always good when people are self-aware too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So, all right. And that seems to serve you well in the community that you've built. And like you said, you built that community for yourself first, because sometimes, we do need to be our own inspiration, right? And you've helped a lot of women scale. And I know that means something different to everybody. Scaling means something
Yeah.
different to everybody. I had this talk that I would give where I was like scaling for real estate syndicators, and I would talk about real estate syndication. And not everyone is like, yeah, that's how I'm going to scale. That's
Yeah.
not everyone's path, right? And so, it's like me looking as the hammer, thinking everything's a nail. And so I started talking to people and figuring out like, what is it that you want to do, but what it broadened into this sort of wider thing of, I really want to help people create conscious wealth. Same issue. What does that even mean? Right. And so everybody has a different definition of that. And I've been on this quest. I created Bubbles with Bethany kind of for me, because I want to hear what all of you have as your superpower, but also what does conscious wealth mean to you? Like when I go out and talk to people and I want to inspire people and I want to help them create conscious wealth, what am I doing for them? So in order to do that, I need to understand, what does that mean to people? So
Yeah.
Liz, what does conscious wealth mean to you?
It's a really powerful question, because I think wealth is, first off, I think wealth is so much more than money, right? I think wealth is holistic. I know we believe that with everything we do, it's not just about buying that next property, but it's about, are you taking care of yourself along, in that process? And quite honestly, are you building the relationships and being the person you want to be, right? Because that's why most people invest in real estate. That's why they're creating wealth, so they have more time freedom, right? So I would say conscious wealth to me is Two things. How I build the wealth and how I spend the wealth, I feel very aligned to. They're aligned to my values, and they're aligned to what I want to give to the world and who I want to be. Meaning, if I'm gonna, I buy a property and syndicate a deal, and people in that process or the team is not honest and authentic and ethical, that's not aligned with conscious wealth to me. And I think in this business, people are people. It's an interesting, Bethany, I'm sure you see it all with what you do. You know all this, that what people are on social media is not always how they conduct business. So we work with a lot of investors over the years, how we were able to build our portfolio, me and my husband. And it was always about putting the investor first. It's always about putting them first. It's always about, how are we doing this versus just doing it, just buying the building or building the wealth. It's who you are in the process when no one's looking. So I that's what conscious wealth means to me, is how you make it, and then how you spend it is aligned with your values and the kind of person you want to be in the world, and the kind of person I want my kids to see,
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's beautiful. I always love that, it is important to provide an example more than the things, I think, to our kids and to anybody who's watching. Other people's kids are watching too, right? And I think that's it's so great that we can actually talk about this now. And that's the other thing too, as women, it used to be kind of frowned upon to talk about wanting wealth at all.